Ever had that sinking feeling that someone in your life doesn't truly value you? You find yourself always giving, always supporting, and yet something feels off. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it feels like you're being used. What if I told you that the signs are often clearer than you think? And what if you could protect yourself from this emotional drain using the wisdom of Stoicism? Today we're diving deep into 15 clear signs that someone is using you and doesn't genuinely care, and how embracing a Stoic mindset can help you reclaim your self-worth. Stick around, because recognizing these behaviors could change your relationships forever. 15. Failure to fulfill promises. Promises should be kept, right? When someone says they'll do something, you'd expect them to follow through. But with people who don't genuinely care, promises often remain empty words. You've probably heard countless reassurances, whether it's about meeting up, helping you with something important, or simply being there when you need them. Yet they fail to deliver, time after time. Broken promises chip away at trust, and over time, they can make you feel unimportant or neglected. The key thing to observe is whether this person makes promises that are realistic and aligned with their actions. In Stoic philosophy, trust and integrity are essential virtues. A person who constantly breaks promises shows a lack of both. Stoicism teaches us not to be overly attached to others' promises, focusing instead on what we can control, our own actions and responses. When you observe this pattern of unfulfilled promises, it's time to step back and ask yourself if this relationship is based on mutual respect or mere convenience. 14. Diminishing or disdainful comments. Another red flag is when someone belittles or dismisses you. These are not always obvious insults. Sometimes they come as backhanded compliments or subtle digs that undermine your confidence. For example, they might say, "You're doing okay for someone with your background," or "I'm surprised you pulled that off." Belittling comments can often feel like a slow drip, something you notice only after it accumulates over time. Maybe they laugh off your achievements as if they're no big deal, or make jokes that hit a little too close to home. These small dismissive comments can erode your self-esteem and make you feel inferior in the relationship. The Stoic mindset emphasizes personal strength and resilience. When facing diminishing comments, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. The opinion of others should never guide your self-worth. Instead of internalizing these words, recognize them as reflections of the other person's character, not your own. 13. Unilateral benefit. Ever notice that the relationship seems to be all about what they can get from you? You're always giving, whether it's time, money, emotional support, or even opportunities. Yet when you need something, they vanish. This kind of one-sided dynamic is a clear sign that you're being used. The key to spotting this is in how consistent their behavior is. Do they only come around when they need something? Or perhaps they only show enthusiasm when they stand to benefit from the situation. A person who only values what you provide rather than who you are is practicing selfishness, not friendship. In Stoicism, relationships should be based on sympatheia, a sense of mutual benefit and cooperation. If only one person is benefiting while the other is being drained, it's time to reconsider the value of that connection. Ask yourself, is this truly a relationship, or is it just a transaction? 12. Disregard for your feelings. It can be incredibly hurtful when someone ignores or dismisses your emotions. Whether you're expressing joy, sadness, or frustration, they brush it aside, making you feel like your feelings are insignificant. This behavior reveals that they aren't invested in your emotional well-being, only in what you can provide. It's not just about their lack of empathy in one or two conversations, it's about a recurring pattern. When you express how you feel, they may shift the conversation back to themselves or minimize what you're going through. They might even gaslight you, making you feel like you're overreacting or being too sensitive. This kind of emotional neglect erodes trust and connection over time. In a Stoic approach, while we are encouraged to remain resilient and not be overwhelmed by emotions, that doesn't mean our feelings are irrelevant. Stoicism teaches us to honor our emotions without becoming enslaved by them. If someone consistently disregards your feelings, it's a sign of their own emotional immaturity, not a reflection of your worth. 11th, emotional manipulation. Manipulation is a powerful tactic used by people who want to control others. Whether through guilt, flattery, or emotional blackmail, they use your kindness and empathy against you. A common example is when someone makes you feel bad for setting boundaries or refusing a request. Suddenly, you're the bad guy for standing up for yourself. One of the most insidious forms of manipulation is when the other person pretends to care deeply about you, only to twist that concern when it suits their needs. They might say things like, "I thought you were different," or "I didn't expect you to treat me this way after all I've done for you," manipulating your emotions so that you feel guilty for asserting your independence. The Stoics believed in the importance of setting strong boundaries and maintaining control over our inner state. As Epictetus said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. When you recognize emotional manipulation, it's crucial to stand firm and not let guilt or pressure dictate your actions. 10. Lack of genuine support. True friends and partners show up when you need them most. But someone who's using you, they're nowhere to be found when times get tough. They may offer excuses, delay their help, or simply ghost you altogether. You'll find that their support is conditional. It's only there when it's convenient for them. Support in a relationship is more than just being physically present. It's about emotional availability, encouragement, and showing up when it counts. Have you ever been in a moment of crisis needing someone to lean on, only to find that the person who's happy to take from you when times are good is suddenly too busy or uninterested? This lack of reliability can make you feel alone and unsupported. According to Stoicism, we must be self-reliant, but also recognize the importance of supportive, meaningful relationships. A lack of genuine support should be a glaring signal that this person is more interested in their own needs than in building a mutually beneficial bond. 9. Constant competition. Do you feel like this person is always trying to one-up you? Instead of celebrating your successes, they make sure to highlight their own accomplishments or even belittle yours. They may seem more focused on beating you than building a healthy, supportive relationship. Sometimes the competition isn't direct, but manifests in subtle ways, such as dismissing your accomplishments, downplaying your hard work, or always shifting the conversation back to their victories. This constant need to outshine you isn't just exhausting. It shows that they see your relationship as a rivalry rather than a partnership. The Stoics believed that comparison and competition lead only to anxiety and dissatisfaction. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." A friend or partner who constantly competes with you is not focused on the mutual growth that relationships are meant to nurture. 8. Absence in critical moments. We all have moments when we need support, the loss of a loved one, a health scare, or a personal crisis. But when someone is using you, they're often conspicuously absent during these critical times. They might offer excuses or avoid the situation entirely, leaving you to fend for yourself. Critical moments in life reveal the truth about people's priorities. When you're struggling and they are nowhere to be found, it's a strong indication that their interest in the relationship is superficial. They may offer empty words or meaningless reassurances, but when it's time to take real action, they vanish. If they can't be there when it matters, they don't deserve a place in your life when things are easy. As Stoicism teaches, adversity is a true test of both character and relationships. A person who is absent in your critical moments has demonstrated where their priorities truly lie, and it may be time to reconsider whether their presence in your life is genuinely enriching. 7. Lack of reciprocity. Healthy relationships are built on reciprocity. There should be a balance of give and take where both parties feel valued and appreciated. But when someone is using you, the relationship becomes lopsided. You're the one who is always giving, while they are content to take without giving much, if anything, in return. Reciprocity doesn't just mean material things. It's about emotional exchange, effort, and time. Are you always the one initiating plans, reaching out and making sacrifices while they seem indifferent? Or maybe they'll offer the bare minimum to keep you invested, without truly committing to the relationship. If you're giving your all and getting nothing back, it's time to recognize the imbalance and reevaluate the relationship. Stoic philosophy encourages us to be generous without expectation. But when generosity is met with consistent indifference or exploitation, it's time to reassess. Relationships should be an exchange of effort, support, and care, not a one-way street. 6. Gossip and breach of trust. Trust is the foundation of any relationship. But when someone uses you, they're often quick to betray your confidence, gossiping about your personal issues or spreading information you shared in private. This breach of trust is a major red flag that they do not respect your boundaries. The act of gossiping or sharing your secrets with others shows a complete disregard for your trust and emotional safety. It's not just about being careless with your feelings, it's a clear indication that they do not view the relationship with the seriousness it deserves. Seneca once said, "It is more of a disgrace to distrust than to be deceived." But repeated breaches of trust should not be overlooked. Trust, in the eyes of the Stoics, is sacred. When someone repeatedly gossips or betrays your trust, it's not just a mistake. It's a clear signal that they do not value your relationship. It's essential to establish boundaries and protect your emotional safety. 5. Selective availability. You are available. They are not. You're always there for them, ready to listen, ready to help. But when you need them, they're suddenly too busy, unavailable, or simply disinterested. This selective availability is a sign of a one-sided relationship where your time and effort are taken for granted. Selective availability is often a deliberate choice. They'll give just enough attention to keep you around, but they'll never be truly present or available when it counts. You might find that they only reach out when they need something or when it's convenient for them. This imbalance can leave you feeling neglected, questioning your own worth. Recognize your own value and demand the same level of effort from them. In Stoicism, we are taught to value our time and attention. If someone is only available when it suits them, it's a sign that they do not respect you as an equal. Your time is valuable. Don't waste it on those who don't appreciate it. 4. Making you feel guilty. Ever been made to feel guilty for things you shouldn't? When someone uses guilt as a manipulation tool, they're trying to control you. They may remind you of past favors, imply you owe them something, or make you feel like a bad person for not doing what they want. This guilt tripping often starts subtly but can escalate over time. You might hear things like, "After all I've done for you, this is how you repay me," or "I thought you cared about me, but I guess I was wrong." These tactics are designed to make you feel obligated, even when you know deep down you're being taken advantage of. Guilt is a powerful weapon in manipulation. Stoicism teaches us to rise above these emotional tactics by standing firm in our convictions. You are not obligated to anyone who tries to control you through guilt. It's important to protect your emotional space from those who seek to manipulate it. 3. Lack of personal interest. Conversations in a healthy relationship are two-way streets. But when someone is using you, you'll notice that they rarely show interest in your life. They dominate conversations with their own stories, and when it's your turn to speak, they're either disinterested or quickly change the subject. This lack of personal interest can leave you feeling invisible, as though your experiences and feelings don't matter. You might start to notice that even when you do share something important, they offer little more than a token acknowledgement before turning the focus back to themselves. This dynamic shows that they don't care about you as a person, they care about what you can offer them. In Stoicism, meaningful relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding. If someone consistently fails to show interest in your life, they do not value you as an equal. It's essential to protect yourself from being emotionally drained by one-sided connections. 2. Superficial closeness. They might act like your best friend or even a close partner. They might laugh with you, share stories, and appear to be deeply engaged in the relationship. But when you scratch the surface, you realize there's no real depth. The connection feels superficial because they're not truly invested in you. They're simply maintaining the relationship for their own convenience. Superficial closeness can be tricky to spot because it often mimics real intimacy. They'll spend time with you, maybe even open up about certain things, but when it comes to the moments that require emotional vulnerability or support, they're absent. This kind of closeness is a facade, a way to keep you engaged without actually investing in the relationship. Real connection goes beyond surface-level interactions. It requires genuine emotional investment. Superficial closeness can leave you feeling used and unfulfilled. In Stoicism, we are taught to seek meaningful connections built on mutual trust and respect, not shallow ties that only serve one side of the relationship. 1. Persistent lack of respect. Respect is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. When someone doesn't respect you, whether through their words, actions, or consistent disregard for your boundaries, it's a clear sign that they're not truly invested in your well-being. A persistent lack of respect often manifests in various subtle ways. They may interrupt you in conversations, dismiss your opinions, or make decisions that affect you without considering your input. Over time, these small acts of disrespect accumulate, leaving you feeling belittled and undervalued. In Stoicism, respect is a critical component of justice, one of the 4 cardinal virtues. A Stoic approach teaches us that respect must be mutual for a relationship to be balanced and meaningful. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, it's not just a sign of incompatibility, it's a sign that they see you as less than an equal. In Stoicism, respect is foundational. Without it, no relationship can thrive. If you find yourself constantly disrespected, it's time to protect your sense of self-worth and seek relationships where mutual respect is prioritized. Conclusion. When you recognize these 15 signs in a relationship, it's clear that the person in question is not invested in you. They're simply using you for their own gain. But with a Stoic mindset, you have the tools to protect yourself. Focus on your own values. Cultivate relationships based on mutual respect, and above all, remember that your self-worth is not determined by how others treat you. Stoicism teaches us to embrace inner strength, resilience, and self-respect. So let go of those who don't value you and create space for relationships that truly enrich your life. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little Stoic wisdom in their mornings. Thanks for watching, and remember, you've got everything you need to make today count. See you in the next video.